Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our 25th episode of the Divine Mess. Already 25. We have been showing up for 26 weeks, like Tina mentioned earlier, because I thought it was 25 consecutive weeks, but actually, we have been showing up for 26 consecutive weeks. More than half a year, right? Half of the year, it seems like. And it has been really exciting journey. So for those who are joining us for this journey for the first time, welcome. For those who are listening, who has been following us for 26, 25 weeks now, thank you. We are really grateful for your feedback, for your comments, for your support, and also like comments about how we can improve. So for those first timers, I'm Kirti Perman, also known as Deva. I'm the CEO and founder of the Heroes Mystic, a holistic life coaching where we help you to find your inner hero, embrace the divine masculine and feminine energies, and sometimes face your inner demon, the place that you don't want to go. And we always have fun conversation on the Divine Mess where we embrace conversation and tell hard truth at times, being honest and authentic with all our listeners. When we show up, there is no holding back. So even if we have technical issues, we still go through. We just trust the universe, and that's how we roll. And as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Tina Ryan, who is going to introduce the topic of the day. That's what she said now. So I will leave it to Tina.
I don't even remember what we said.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll support each other.
We will make it work. Good morning, everybody. Good evening, wherever this happens to land for you. My name's Tina Marie, and I'm a love coach. So I help you take care of the person that stares at you in the mirror every day and make you love them and embrace them just a little bit more than you did the day before. So today we are talking about self-belief and self-doubt, which are opposite sides of the same coin, I would say. So seeing as last week was me leading the charge, I am going to allow my very good and very scientifically brained friend to get his perspective this morning on self-doubt, because trust me, he never comes across as a person who doubts himself. But I'm sure, like all of us, there's always that inner Deva that's telling him he can't do certain things or can't be certain things. So share away, my friend.
Well, I don't know if I have the capacity to go on a roll like you do, but I will try. But I will ask you a question first, right? That's how we roll. No, I'm kidding.
Go for it.
No, it's about, because it's interesting what you said, like I can come across with certain people that I don't have any doubt, or my life is really good, or everything is going on well. And people, like most of my friends, think like that. At times it's like they always ask me like, how are you doing? And then the next minute they are sharing their their life, and I'm used to that kind of I was used to that kind of friendship, I would say. And it's not that I don't have doubts. It means that I have a lot of doubts, but I know how to manage them, just like anyone else. But it's not that it's not about showing them to the world or sharing them. I choose not to focus on them. I choose to focus on my strength, on my light, on my love. And there will be moments that I will go like in the dark night of the soul. And I know the cycle now, because based on the moon cycles, I do follow that now, because I've been studying me in a way for the past 5 years when I have been in New Zealand. And I'm still in New Zealand, by the way. So I have been studying that based on the moon cycle, because I didn't believe at first. Then one friend mentioned that. And I noticed for me, it's like when the time of like it's going to be the full moon or all of that leading that week, that's when the inner demons will come up. And that's when the doubts will come up like, oh, I can't do that. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve that. And for me, it's always going back to that inner child and talking to that inner, Kirtireva, and talking to him and reassuring him, parenting him. Because all my life, like especially my teenage years, were filled with doubts, filled with doubt about my worth, my voice, my myself. Like, am I good enough to achieve that? Do I deserve that? I feel that for me, it comes down to those major one, like worthy and deserve it. If I have to nail it down to really one big self-doubt, it would be like that worthiness for me personally. And that's one that really come up like the week, I know the week leading to the full moon. I noticed that a lot. And that's when I taught myself to manage that, like using different techniques that I learned throughout the years. But definitely self-doubt is common. And I was looking, I love watching documentaries about athletes, and they do all go through that. Every single person, even the most seasoned speaker, will tell you the moment they come, they have to go on stage. Even like Tony Robbins, they will tell you, they will have that little voice saying that, oh, I'm stressed. Can I do that? Still. And these are like seasoned speakers. So we are not like, we can't avoid that in a way, but it's about learning. For me, it's about learning how to manage that self-doubt. And that's where your self-belief come into place. It's about your belief, because your belief in yourself can guide you to like greatness, like can lead you to your success. But whatever you choose to focus on, that's what's going to happen. So for me, it's like during that doubting season or week, I do a lot of inner work. I take that time. It might seem like resting or procrastination to the mind, to my mind. It might look like that. But for me, it's like deep inner work where it's recycling that energy, releasing that doubt, each time. Because it's like that child that come to you and throw a tantrum, and it's like you reassure him, or her all the time. And that's what you need. I feel that people need to remind themselves to be good to themselves, at times to be gentle with themselves, because we forget that, and to say that we deserve that. Because now I'm coming to that belief, like that we deserve happiness. I deserve happiness. I deserve abundance. I deserve wealth. I didn't come on earth to suffer. Let's be clear about that, because initially when because I talk about that, I think in the first few episodes, and even in the book, like about being bullied, and that's when my self-belief, like it turned into self-doubt. Like that's where the self-doubt crept in, and it was like I questioned myself so much, like about, like, should I be on this earth? Should I be still on this earth? And that's when the suicidal ideation came into. That was my teenage years. And luckily, I was protected by the universe, and I had good guidance, I would say. Like, don't get me wrong, like my childhood, my parents were amazing. They still are. Like it's not like I had an abusive parents like some people do. I'm not questioning that, but for me, it was a different kind of abuse, and I felt now when I'm reflecting, it's like that self abuse or self bully kind of, that I took other people's voice to be mine. And I feel that's where self doubt can come as well, where you take people, maybe in your childhood, they said something, that really struck you, and you start believing that it is your voice, and it sounds like your voice, but it's not.
Mm.
And that's where the self-doubt can creep in as well. And yeah, so that's a bit what I can share about self-doubt and self-belief. Um,
But
what about your
it's
experience?
I think it's.
Yeah.
I watched a documentary on Sly Stallone on Netflix on the weekend, and he talks about how quickly time passes by if you allow other people's thoughts and beliefs to hinder or to hold you back from doing the things that you want to do. Like he was saying, he would always get cast as, you know, he decided he wanted to be an actor and had a really rough childhood. But they would always cast him as a thug and a bad boy, and was never cast in like a leading role. So he chose to write, and he wrote the script for Rocky. And out of writing and writing and writing and writing, he wrote himself apart. But he said, 1 minute I'm sitting in my apartment writing Rocky, and he said, and the next minute I've got grown children, and I've done 3 different series of movies, and he said, I don't know where the time's gone. So we want to be really mindful that our experience that we have, we don't waste the talents that we have by listening to your 3rd grade teacher or the kid down the road or the woman in the supermarket or whatever it happens to be, in stopping you from achieving, like you say, achieving your own greatness. And I'm about to step in to something like that where I went, oh, I can't do that. And I'll be working with a trainer for 12 weeks because I want to see what's possible for a woman who is almost 50. What can I achieve with my body, with the right instruction, the right nutrition, the right training plan, the right mindset in 12 weeks? What can change for me? Whereas I looked to work with this lady 9 years ago, but things got in the way. Self-doubt would probably be a big one, but a couple of remnants from having 2 very large babies also. So now is the right time for me believing that I need to step in and do this to show people what's possible and to document the journey and going, as much as you doubt your ability, your body can do amazing things if you just allow it, and stop putting the self-doubt, I can't, so I shouldn't, I don't have time, this, that, all the other excuses under the sun, but going, but what if? I think that's the biggest thing. What if it works? What if you get in there and after 12 weeks you feel like the best version of yourself? What will your world look like in 12 weeks? And I think that's the biggest thing that most people, when they're suffering that self-doubt and going, what if it doesn't work? What if it does? How about reframing it instead of always putting this negative spin or this negative connotation on everything? What if it works? What if that relationship is going to be the next best thing? What if this new job, what if? Apply for it. Tell someone how much you love them. It's a case of, I suppose, vulnerability over anything. That self-doubt is us not allowing ourselves to be vulnerable and going, put your hand up, I need some help, I'm not really sure what I'm doing, or I'd really like to come and work for your company and I think I'd be really good at the job, I'd love an opportunity. It's having enough faith in your skill set and your ability to influence. And like you said, focus on your light and how much love and the capacity to love others that you have. Utilize that. Utilize those instead of going, I'm 10 kilos overweight and I'm this and I'm that and my hair's not long enough, or I've got grey hair, or every other excuse that you've got. Nobody cares. But care enough about the person that's standing in front of the mirror to give them an opportunity. Give the person that you're going to be tomorrow, give them an opportunity to shine and have enough belief that anything is possible. We limit ourselves. We put ourselves in such tiny, tiny little boxes when the boxes, the size of it is only, ruled by your own imagination. You want to put yourself in a matchbox, have a guess where you're going to be. Struggling to get out, but if you want to put yourself in a box the size of your suburb or the size of your country, well, then that's your choice too. But the doubters, the haters, I don't know if it's an age thing, but you just get to a certain point where you just go, not that you don't care, but their thought processes, their opinions, their words don't create as much of an impact on what it is that you're choosing to do. Because so many people go, oh, I don't care. Well, it's not that they don't care. It's just that they don't want to express how much possibly that they do care. Or, we're seeking outside validation, or we're seeking somebody else's love and appreciation. And so we're looking for that external rather than taking it from ourselves, rather than believing enough in our own skills and abilities. And guess what? If you don't have the skills and abilities, go get them. It's never too late to go to university or to learn something new or to pick up a book or to listen to podcasts on it. There's 5 million. We're one of them. Listen to it on any topic, anything that you want to learn more about. If it's of benefit for your family relationship, for your own personal journey, for your work, for anything, there's so much information that you can go out and grab. If that's what it takes to build your self-belief just that little bit more, well, I could do that. Well, Mel Robbins does that. Tony Robbins does that. I can do that. We both were in a position where we wanted to be able to talk, to utilize our voice. We went and found somebody, and Wendy did amazing things for both of us, because we wouldn't be sitting here today if we didn't listen enough to our intuitive bit that said, you need to go and do this. There's a reason why you need to go and do this. We didn't know that you'd be sitting on the opposite side of the screen, or I'd be sitting on the opposite side of the screen, or what that 12-month journey would lead to. But we had enough belief in the message that both of us wanted to share that created the spark and the idea. And I let self-doubt hold it off for 6 months until I turned around and went, you know what? My excuses are bullshit. I want to have a big mile marker for 2023. And my mile marker was, I started a podcast. I think we need to create these special momentous bits in our life so that we can look back over the calendar of our life and go, 2023, I started a podcast. 2024, I went to Paris, and I went to New Zealand, and, we stood on stage and we had a Divine Mess workshop. Whatever it is, you have to have enough belief and put it out there and say, I want this to happen, and let go of the shit that is holding you back. Just write it down, burn it, flush it down the toilet, let it. And David will play me the Frozen song in 57 different languages when I'm not letting stuff go. I'm saying out of love and truthfulness, let it go. It doesn't serve you. It really doesn't. And you would be amazed what drops off the face of the planet when you start to have those little nuggets of self-belief, the little things that just build and build. It'll be people, it'll be jobs that no longer feel like they fit, or clothes that no longer feel like they fit, or people or relationships. Everything will start to feel a little bit uncomfortable, because that's because you're being asked to grow. The self-doubt gets less, the self-belief becomes more, your light gets brighter, and the people that don't like your light, they're going to try. They will try everything, to muck with it, to dim it, to extinguish it, to put you out of what they think is your own misery, when in actual fact, you're just going out doing the stuff that you were designed to do. So that's my 5 cents worth in the coin on both sides. So watch this space to see what's going to be possible, because I'm sure I'm going to be sharing every week, oh my God, I never thought my body could hurt as much as it does. But because it's hurting, it means I'm doing something with it.
Yeah. And, like you mentioned, thank you for sharing that, because there's a lot of wisdom in what you just shared. First of all, like about Rocky, he sold his dog, like at the start of the movie, like just to be able to pay for the movie. I think to produce the movie, that's what I understood. Like he sold his dog, and the first check he got, he went back and buy back his dog. That's what he did. And that's an amazing story, because he was so desperate. He didn't have any money. And but he chose to believe. Like even if you see Arnold Schwarzenegger, right?
Yeah,
He was
his series is very good too.
Yeah, he said like he built his self-belief by putting pictures of, I think it's called Mr. World, or well, I don't know how.
Oh,
Like
Mr. Universe, I think
Mr. Universe, yes, Mr. Universe over his room, like across his room.
Mhm.
And there was one guy who was sharing on one podcast, I forgot where, he was saying like Arnold said like, what are they asked Arnold, what were your dreams? Like, what was your dreams? And it was back in the days when he started Mr. Universe, right? And he said like, I'm going to be the most paid actor in Hollywood. I'm going to be a governor of one state. I would like to be California. And they said like everything that he mentioned, he achieved them. Mm. And because everyone laughed out loud when he said that, and he was still young when he said, but he had those clearly defined goals. He didn't know how to achieve them. He didn't know.
No,
but he chose not to.
Irrelevant, right?
Yeah. And I feel that's where the self-doubt come to us, is like we choose to focus on the how. And we talk about that a lot, like outside of the podcast, like we talk about that a lot.
Just this
That's it.
morning.
Yeah, like we just share like, and it's a constant reminder for both of us, because I feel like every Tuesday when we do the recording, by the time we're doing recording for us, it's a Tuesday, and it's a constant reminder for the week for me. Oh, this is what we discuss on the podcast, and I could literally hear your voice saying like, surrender, surrender more. And it's like a joke, between inside joke, but this is a constant reminder. But this is how when you're with a group of people that build your self-belief and raise your vibration, that's how you feel. Because you could have been with a group that's making you doubt more about yourself.
Correct.
But if your self-belief is so high, even the doubters will run away, right? They will move away.
I know.
But you need that community that builds you. Sometimes we need to be surrounded with people that's are mirrors to us in a way, but are constant reminders as well of what we can achieve. Yes. So if you like Arnold did, like surround himself with all the Mr. Universe, he chose he says like you have to shut down the noise, the chatter outside. Like you have to focus on what you really, really want. And most people will go, well, I don't know what I want. But you do but most people, and that's something I work with one of my clients. What I made her do is like write down a list of all the doubts, everything, like everything that's running through your mind, everything, write it down. And then she went, and then I asked her one question is like, are you, so now imagine yourself, right? That you have your 5-year-old self or your kid, right? Go out and read that list to them and tell them all that you have written down, tell them to their face. Would you do that? And just like this,
very uncomfortable.
It's not, right? You won't do that. So
No.
why the hell are you talking to you like that?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good exercise, a good reminder to shift how you self-doubt when you're, especially for parents, I say that just ask yourself, will you ever in your whole life tell that to your kid, what you really are doubting? Just like you did, like Tina, right? You felt uncomfortable, and it's like, oh no way, like no effing way I'm doing that, right? No way I'm doing that.
Because as a parent, your whole role is to endeavor to elevate your kids whilst keeping an element of reality in going, you guys can go out and do anything, but you know what? You still need to scrub the toilet and you still need to cook meals. And that's real, but you also need to have, if you want to be an astronaut or a president or a prime minister, great. But there's an element of reality that still needs to be there. Go off and do whatever you need to do to achieve your dreams, but still be a good human. Still, still function like a good human. But there is no way I'd ever turn around to my kids ever and say, you're selfish and you're lazy and you did. Sometimes in the fit of motherhood, when things are not going well, sometimes you go, you know what? On a whole, you're not pulling your weight and you're not being very nice to everybody else. And that comes across to other people like selfishness.
Yeah.
Because I think it's, as a parent, you endeavor not to label. And this is the thing we do to ourselves. We label ourselves. We would never endeavor to label a child as you are this. It's your behavior is this. You're labeling the behavior, not labeling the person. So why on earth how does that get so mucked up from the age of 5 to 50, like the span of 45 years? How does that get so, pardon my French, fucked up that we would go, well, you're selfish and you're really not a good writer, and what makes you think you could have a podcast, and you're just going through menopause, so your body's going to look like that for the rest of your life, and so you need to just suck it up and move on. Like, no. I had so many conversations with so many amazing women, and they just want to accept this is my lot. And I can't physically grab somebody and want to shake them more. They'll say to me, oh, but my arms look like this. And I'm going, those arms held your babies. Those arms wrap your husband up at the end of the day. Those arms hug your parents. Do you still feel really shitty about those arms? Or it's all perspective. That self-doubt, self-belief, it's a perspective. It's a pair of glasses. You're either going to doubt yourself or you're going to believe in yourself. But it's the choice. It's like every day waking up being grateful or feeling happy or finding joy. Everything is about choice. All we're endeavoring to do here is think about your choices. like you say, would you take that list and give it to your 5-year-old self or your 5-year-old child or your 15-year-old child and go, this is what I think about myself? It would provide interesting conversation with your teenagers.
Yeah.
Going,
and reading it.
This is how I'm feeling. This is how I'm doubting myself. And then them going, oh, Mum's at that age and stage and she still is feeling like maybe I don't fit in so well and I don't really belong here, or whatever your feelings are on any given day. And like you say, that lead up to a full moon is normally like crazy time. Have the conversation with the person that you love, with your parents, with your best friend. I'm feeling like I want to throw my computer against the wall because I've got nothing to say, and this is just, I'm jacked off with all of it. I'm jacked off with people saying that I have to post 7 times a day to have an impact, or I need to do reels, or I need to do this, or why? We've created this massive monster. We, as a connected human web, we've created it. Why? What do we all get out of it? What is it there for if there's so much disinformation or information that isn't true, or maybe that it's not true, maybe it's your filter on what you see. So as far as you're concerned, that is your truth.
Yeah.
But if you took your truth to someone else and said, is this information about me true? Get someone to hold a mirror up and go, that's not what I see. I see this, and this. And then you go, oh, well, that counters everything off on my list that I've written about myself. So how do I take what David said and go, oh, well, David says I'm strong, or David says I'm capable. How can I build that into my day to know that I'm physically strong, I'm mentally strong, I'm emotionally strong? What does that look like, or what do I think that should look like for me?
And like you were saying about social media, just quickly, it's something I heard like last week on the School of Greatness podcast by Lewis Howes. There was one guy who came in, I forgot his name, but he said like, we nowadays, because of social media, like you said, like if you go on Instagram, if you follow those accounts where they tell you what's the best schedule, like how to have more impact on people, like what's the best time of the day, even in terms of US time or European time or Australian time. So it's like a crazy time zone as well. But then he said something which I found really interesting. He talked about impact, right? We say like when we do the work that we are doing as a coach, like at the core, it's like to have that impact on humanity, And he said like if you're focusing on the number of likes, and if you're looking like at Jay Shetty, who is getting like 6 billion views, and you're getting just 6 views, well, you're going to stop posting. But if you choose to say that, well, I had impact on 6 people today, because 6 views is normally like, technically, if someone didn't watch your video again, it counts like maybe you impacted 6 people, and it's like we all say that we want to impact. And he said like, that's why you should come up with posts that resonate with you. That's a line. I'm just rephrasing whatever he shared. And I found that really profound, like what he shared, because it's like about posting what resonate with you. And for me, I noticed that people will come back and say, well, you posted that thing last time, And that really made my day, like a motivational post. And I'm like, well, I don't even remember that I posted that, but people actually notice. So sometimes we focus on the like 6 billion views, for example. He was joking about Jay Shetty getting 6 billion or Tony Robbins getting those 6 million views or whatever it is. Because he was saying like they started like us. They started like with 6 views and then it grew and then it grew. But they were focusing on making impact with the intention behind every single post was to make an impact. It was not to get the number of views or number of likes or number of comments. And I feel in this social media world, we compare ourselves so much. We all do. And that's where the self-doubt come out more. It like manifests like crazy. But because when you see those people talking about, and social media has a way to, it's like this success makeup. It's like a makeup, like it shows only the successes. It
It's
don't
a
show you the
Snapchat filter, isn't it? Like it's the
yeah,
filter over, because it's a snippet, it's the smallest snippet of somebody's day. It doesn't mean they haven't stood there for 25 different shots until they got the shot that they liked or that they were happy. It's not like they took a photo and this is it. Hot, sweaty mess coming from the gym. This is no filter, no makeup.
yeah,
This is what you get after an hour in the gym. This is what
yeah,
this is what it looks like, or this is what my office looks like. There is essential oils and there's candles and there's plants and there's papers and there's all my thoughts are kind of spread. It's like 50 million tabs open and where's the music coming from? That's a little what my brain is like. So I look at that and I go, oh my God, such a mess. God, you need to clean up. Why do you live like that? Why can't you keep yourself orderly? And there's a level in that self-doubt where you need to give yourself ease and grace in going, well, I like to have that touchstone there. And yes, there's cards and things that I need to move through. And yeah, I probably should take that stuff down the Sammys or list it on Facebook Marketplace but we're imperfectly perfect. Our home, unless you've got OCD and you don't have children and you live by yourself, your home is never going to look like a show. Unless you've got multi-millions of dollars and there's someone cleaning house and there's someone cooking your meals and there's someone training your body, and it's just not. We have these set standards and ideals of what things are supposed to look like when we're not giving ourselves enough space to be, this is me and I'm a work in progress. I'm not perfect. I'm occasionally what my mother would have termed lazy, but I choose to call that now as reflective time, where I get to go, is this really how I want to live? Is this really what I want as a reflection of who I am now? This is a reflection of the teenager I once was. I'm reverting a little bit to maybe do some work and not recognize that that's what it is. But then I choose to have belief that I've got enough guts so to, come in here and clean up and go, do I, as I was saying to David before we started, do I really need to keep the ultrasound picture of my son when I was 2 months pregnant? Maybe not. Maybe I should just give it to him in his birthday card when he turns 16 and go, here you go, babe. Mum's got a little present for you. But don't ever let your doubts about your ability to be lacking in something stop you from doing the next best thing. I think that, we want to have that inner 5-year-old cheering us on from the sidelines going, you can do this. I don't know if you've ever watched Play School for Old People or something. It was a series where they took 4-year-old kindergartners into old age homes and they paired a 4-year-old up with an older person, and what it showed was these little balls of encouragement. Going, why do you walk with that frame? Why can't you just walk normally? Or why does it take you a really long time to sit down? Or why won't you come and put your feet in the sand? It's really good fun. And you need to come and have a play and have a dance. And what it did was these people that had literally shut themselves off from the world and thought that they had nothing valuable left to offer, they blossomed over this sort of 8-week time period. I'll have to find it and put some information up somewhere, but over that 8-week time period, they came out of their shells. They went, I've still got, people still find me worthy, like I've got information still to share. And they found that the families embraced these people because sometimes they didn't have families close by, or family relationships had fallen apart, so they didn't have regular visitors. So they took these people on. And so, their relationships with their little 4-year-old friends became a weekly thing, even after the experiment was done with. So it just goes to show, if you want to take your inner 5-year-old like mine and hold their hand and say, come on, where are you going to take me next? You might be surprised that all the things that you think you can't do, they're going, yeah, you can. Just try it. Try that new food, try that new thing and see where it gets you. And the self-doubt eventually does become less, but it does rear its head every now and again. And then you need to ring your good mate on the other side of the world and go, I'm having a moment, or I vanish. And you need to just go, hello, are you still there? Are you having a little quiet introspection? So yeah, take your inner 5-year-old for a walk and have a look a little bit differently at your life and go, if I was 5, what would I do now? I'm sure inner David would be riding a bike or playing soccer or swimming in the ocean or doing something.
Climbing trees.
Climbing trees, yeah.
Yeah, because like my mom this week was sharing, like I used to climb the corridor wall in my
I used
house.
to do that.
Yeah,
outside.
Yeah. And touch the roof and just come back. It was like my challenge. And she always said just be careful, in a very loving, quote unquote, way that I might fall down, and she needs to take me to hospital. And I constantly remind her of that, what she said. And I told her, I was joking about her, and I told her, I told her, like, see, this is where my self-doubt about climbing came. See, you were constantly telling me that I'm going to fall off.
You didn't tell your mother that, seriously. But you do remember, because it's your own fear, right? When you see your children going and doing things, it's your own fear of what it would feel like to fall and hurt yourself, or to think that your child could ever fall and hurt themselves and be in pain.
Yeah.
We don't like our babies experiencing pain or the thought of what it would feel like ever.
It's so interesting, like your mom instinct just came out suddenly. It's like, yep, we are no more friends. Like, now, Deva, we are not friends right now. It's like the mom is speaking, like
I'm with you on that one, Ruby. 1,000%. Should have just told him 100 times over. Get your ass down off that wall, and you're cleaning those walls because your dirty footprints are now all over my walls.
That's my footprints. And I say, yeah, well, now you missed the footprints. No, but we were like doing that inner work. The whole family is doing that inner work, where we are like exploring our belief about money, for example, about ourselves, like our ancestral. We are going way back into the ancestral like belief that came up with us, like in terms of money, because I feel like doubting about how much we can earn as well is one. Like doubting about if we deserve to earn that kind of money, or I'm just taking one example.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like those fears, like you mentioned, like that we are talking about. And it's interesting to see how when you're doing this as a family, it's so interesting. Like if you take just one situation, how many perspective, because when they share their views, and I was like, no, this is not how it looked like from my side, and they are like, no, this is not how it looked from our side. And I was like, oh yeah, that's true. Like it's something that's why I found like doing family, like as a family, you're doing when you're on the same wavelength. And I know for people it can be difficult, but when you are starting to raise your vibration, I noticed that with my family, and they can tell you, like my mom will tell you that, because she's been doing that inner work as well, which I really appreciate. Like they are doing that as we are doing that as a family.
But an
And
interesting
it's
concept, because not many people would. Not many people
no,
would
no,
raise it and go, we all need to, and to have everybody on board.
yeah, but it starts with one person, and that's where I was going. Like when you start believing in yourself and you start changing, it has an impact on your community. It has an impact on everyone around you. So just like we were talking before, like when you became clear about your boundaries, for example, it had an impact on the whole house, like your home, right? And that's what happened with when you start doing your inner work. Like sometimes we say, oh, we wish our parents were like this, and it's like, no, you should be accepting how they are. It's like moving into that space of, well, I accept how they are. They are not going to change if they are not willing to. If they want to change, if they're willing to, great, do the work. Let them do the work though. Don't interfere. And yeah, so at times it can be challenging not to interfere from my perspective. But I my parents are very open to my suggestion, and I'm very open to theirs. Like they will point out, oh well, in this situation, actually, this is what happened. And I'm like, oh, okay. And it's like, this is where I shut up. You see, when you told me like you better shut up, all of that, this is where I learned to shut up and say, yeah, I got to be I realized how much I have grown in that sense. Like I'm more accepting, like in that space of acceptance toward their suggestion, toward their guidance, being more open to it. Yeah. And it shows when you are all doing the inner work, and it has an impact on the whole family. So the whole family belief is changing,
Yeah.
and
And you're
it's
all
evolving.
spiraling up rather than
Yeah.
spiraling down. And
Yeah.
it's not one person trying to drag everybody else with them.
Yeah.
You're all ascending at the and it's nice when the ascension's at the same pace. Like you're not kind of going, you're looking down 2 flights of stairs going, come on, seriously, can you keep up? But you are in a unique situation where you have your parents doing that work with you, so that and not many families would take that on. Too many people are too scared and too frightened and feel unable to do that. So bless the double R's for stepping in and doing the work, because we love them and we think they're amazing, and they're always quick to comment and share their feedback, which we love on a regular basis. So, and your mother will be super excited because we mentioned her yet again.
She's becoming famous, and she will be super happy about that. But she will still tell me off that I told that story. So that's okay. I'm used to that. But it's I just wanted to, before we end our conversation for today, is like When I was doing the inner work, it took some time for them to join in on the journey, because they had to do their work. They had to be, and that's where you need to understand that it's not going to happen straight away, but you need to accept how they are and how they are doing their work, because it could be like for them, for example, my mom will go to the temple, and that's her inner work done. She doesn't need to write. Well, now she's starting to write, but she didn't need to write before. She didn't feel the need. But just talking to God in her way, that was her inner work.
Yeah.
And that was it for her. Yeah. And sometimes for some people, talking to a best friend or a friend and just venting out, that's their inner work at the start. Mm-hmm. And then it starts to evolve. And that's where we want to go. Yeah. So our message, I feel my message for everyone listening is like, it's okay to have self-doubt, but it's better to have self-belief, and just focus on that, building that, stack your wins, focus on the times that you think that everything was going wrong, but it turned out to be great. Yeah. And just remind yourself of that. On that note, from my part, I will see you next week. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Tina, for sharing your wisdom, your experience, being open about, like being open to this experience. It's because 26 weeks is technically half a year. So we have been like doing that half a year. So
I know, isn't that just blows my mind, So from me, as always, we love you and we're grateful for you, and we look forward to chatting with you all next week. And I will chat with you at some stage later in the day, I'm sure, because that's how it always happens. But until then, we look forward to seeing you next week on The Divine Mess. And take care.
Take good care. Have a great week ahead. Thank you.
See you.